everyone, and welcome to the 8th episode of the Unplugged podcast. And joining us a little later, maybe, possibly, perhaps, will be the perhaps co-host DJB. But here live in the flesh today is Mr. TJ Vegas. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. It's morning. I'm not really a morning person, but I'm here and I'm having fun. I can't wait to get into this.
Yeah, the one thing I've always said recently, well, not recently, but over the last, 3 years, once I started working night shifts, is that it's not that I'm not a morning person. I'm not a waking up person. Because
I'm not a person.
I can debate whether I'm a person or not sometimes either. Who even knows at this point? I am just existing on fumes half the time. Fucking my body runs on fucking CBD edibles and shit. That's all I run off of anymore. Like that shit just keeps me sane. And even that's debatable.
Taking a
sometimes.
Sip of my drink and I'm like, yo, everybody. I'm not drinking alcohol for once. Every time I'm on here, I'm just plaster. But I'm not. It's a polar seltzer, pink apple, and lemon. I'm being a good boy.
Woo. That's most I've got is smokers. I don't think anyone's gotten drunk yet. Keyword yet. There's still room for that.
If this was later in the day, that would probably be the case. Yeah. We'll see how long this goes.
Yeah, right. Who knows? I don't know if I can handle another 3, 4, 5 hour show. But who knows? I got a feeling this week. Oh God. So sort of the way I usually at least try to start these off is sort of different from how a lot of these sort of EFED interviews go, because a lot of people, they just kind of like to stick to the point that you got started, like how it started. I kind of like to go a little further back. So what kind of hobbies and shit were you into before the whole EFED thing came into the picture? Like, what was a pre-EFED
before
you?
EFEDs? Before EFEDs, most of my time was spent and creating and designs for metal and hardcore shows, and I started that in 2008. I would make the flyers, I would contact the bands, I would secure venues, I'd put on metal shows, and then I would be skateboarding. I very shittily, I was a backyard wrestler for a little bit. That's where all my injuries came from. Backyard wrestling and skateboarding and all that, and mosh pits. That's why I'm only 31, but I have the body of like a 90-year-old.
I did a little bit of backyard myself.
Yeah.
Fun times, huh?
My name is TJ Carnage, and I would clothesline people with light tubes, and I'd swantonned off the top of a shed before.
Oh shit! Nice.
Yeah.
It was
makes all the sense in the world now.
Oh yeah, it all comes together. I was telling this story yesterday on Josh's show, which obviously will be up by now, so everyone else will have already heard. I've got a really bad habit of what people will consider to be retelling stories, but the fact is, for pretty much everyone I bring on, is the first time they're hearing these, because I don't talk to people that often in this capacity.
Same.
One of my last, I guess, quote, backyard things. Technically, this specific event didn't even happen in a backyard. Me and a buddy, we were doing some shit, and then it eventually got to a point where we got back inside, all the way back into the fucking bedroom. And at one point, this guy I was going at it with was tall but a fucking beanpole, so I could throw him around like nothing. Me back then, I was still like.
This sounds very sexual.
Josh said the same thing.
Back to the bedroom, and I was throwing him around.
Yeah. And then the rest, as they say, is history. But anyway, I'll sort of cut to the chase of this one. Somehow this like little bean, like this bean pole of a human being, like 6'5", 6'6", but maybe 170 soaking wet compared to my, at the time, probably 360 plus, somehow manages to get me up and then drops me back down on the bed. Now, most people would hear that and say, well, the bed probably broke. The bed was fine. The floor wasn't.
Oh, I was going to say, did you hit the bed, launch off, and hit the wall?
No. What happened was when I made contact, the back leg, like the lower, the end legs of the bed frame went down. So I figured I broke the legs of the bed.
Oh, it just went through the floor.
We finished our shit. Yeah, we finished our shit, and then we investigated the problem. And then we realized the leg of the bed is fine, but it's in the floor.
Oh, no.
Went clean through. And so we covered it up. And then a good while went by. I had forgotten about it. And then we were redoing the floors, because we were switching from carpet to hardwood. And they went through my little stepbrother's room first. It was trashed.
Oh.
Then went through my sister's room, and it was trashed. So then they go to my room, and I'm not a stickler for cleanliness. I tend to kind of let shit get away from me. But mine was the cleanest of the three, which was not normal. And my dad's like, wow, he actually, cleaned shit up before he got out of here. Cool. And then they moved my bed out of the way.
And there's holes.
There's holes in the floor. And I feel like if I had been there, there would have been another hole being made in the ground, this time for me.
Pile driver
Probably,
by the dad.
Yeah. We joked that he was going to hit me with a tombstone figuratively and then go get a tombstone and then start hitting me with that.
Just beating you down with a slab of granite.
Yeah, exactly. So, I remember I almost really fucked my back up once, and that was when I had stopped doing it altogether. It was a fluke thing. I'm obviously fine now, but at the time I'm like, oh god, I ruined my back. We were trying to do a pop. We were trying to do like a. We were trying to do like a pop-up power bomb spot, and I got like sandbagged. Go on.
The wild is we had like a chain link just at the top of it because it came down, and where we were wrestling was not a backyard. It was like a weird like sand pit. So we found like a little ditch, and we put the cage, the chain link fence over the ditch. And I choke slammed somebody onto that, but we had some light bulbs that were in the chain link fence.
Oh. Oh shit.
And yeah, their back looked terrible. And then their mom came to my house and yelled at me. So it was not good.
No, I can imagine not. Do you remember your last backyard thing?
It was my buddy Matt. We were both juggalos.
Good start.
Chuckles the clown, and he was Spaz. And then we were facing two neighborhood kids, and that's when I had the person up on my shoulders like a doomsday device. My partner ran, jumped off a seated chair, and hit him in the face with a crutch. And then my finisher was called the game over, and I would have them in a full Nelson, and then I would run and bulldog them with the full Nelson and off the ground.
Nice.
I hit them with that. And, the kid was like, I think I might have broken my nose, and there was blood, so he just went home, and we never finished the match.
Oh.
So between the pit spot and the possible broken nose, I got yelled at a lot by parents, so I just
yeah, you had a reputation for being an unsafe worker.
Yeah. Nia Jackson up on the pitch.
There we go. So doing like graphic design stuff and a little bit of backyard stuff here and there. Was the actual like actually making music a thing at this time, or was that like later on?
I tried a couple bands in high school, so like 2007, 2008, when I was booking shows. I tried to be a frontman for a band, like a vocalist. I wasn't that good, and we never actually got to play legitimate shows. We played a couple parties, and we played like some basement things where everybody got together. So I kind of just put actually performing in bands on the back burner for a while. And it wasn't until like 2012 or 13 that I started doing vocals again. And at that point, I got a couple shows in. I started a band called In Control. But that was already like 2 years into me doing promos and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm the opposite of what I started as.
Yeah, right? Like I remember hearing like some of your more like I guess metal stuff right before you switched into the rap game. I don't remember like specifics, but I remember seeing like a few things here and there. Yeah. That was it. So on like I guess sort of back on a wrestling subject in general, when and how did you like first discover actual like wrestling?
Real wrestling, I was going through the channels looking for stuff on TV when I was saying I was going to bed, but we never go to bed. I saw WCW, and I was like, huh, what is this? And then I was telling my parents about it, and they were like, no, we're not doing that. So I wanted. I've been watching this for weeks. They kind of just gave in and let me watch like Thunder and Nitro and stuff. But it wasn't until like beginning of 2000, like a couple weeks after Jericho's debut, that I started watching WWF because I didn't know that existed because I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling.
Oh wow!
So
See,
I just stuck
came
with
up
WCW
totally
for like
different.
2 or 3 years. So
I came
WCW
up
for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I had come up different because like my dad was a wrestling fan, and of course, whenever I showed an interest in watching, he was all for it. And then I became an even bigger fan than he did, to the point where he doesn't even watch anymore.
Yeah, so I started watching WWF in like a couple after Jericho debuted because it was like almost 3 years, and I was just on WCW, and I was like, this is all there is. And then I remember hearing something that was like Big Show is Shane McMahon and one other person in a trios match, and they're like at a combined weight of and just and I was like, motherfucker, I need to watch this, and I'm just like. I'm watching it now. I was like, oh shit, this is different. This is different. And then I became a fan ever since. But for the most part, I've been like an independent wrestling fan for the most part all these years.
Mm-hmm. What was your first dive into the indies?
Back when Ring of Honor was actually an independent, like 2005 ish.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started, because I liked things like Batman and Spider-Man and Supers, and it's like the closest thing you'll get to comic book context, and I was all about it. The characters, the moves you don't see on TV, just all this crazy shit.
Yeah, I know I had first discovered Ring of Honor myself in like I want to say it was 2011. You know, just kind of scrolling channels one day. I'd been kind of on and off with
when Adam Cole went
like
there.
Yeah, Adam Cole was there. But the first person I saw when I turned on Ring of Honor, Kevin Steen and Jimmy Jacobs. The Scum days. That was my fucking introduction. And then after that fucking
that was a big basis for the whole filth thing in EFEDs.
I love it. The Scum was one of my favorite things. It was like right before, I remember it was right before Steen was going to face off with Generico at Showdown in the Sun. I think that was where Jacobs and Steen came together. But yeah, and then like right after that, seeing
because that happened like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then in 2013, I created Filth and SPW off the basis of that.
Nice. But yeah, like from there was like seeing like Mike Bennett, Adam Cole, Briscoes, Ciampa. Ciampa was another big one for me.
Yeah. Back then, hell yeah.
Just House of Truth. Love it. I became addicted to ROH for House of Truth. Truth Martini is one of my favorite managers. Honestly, I really enjoyed his work. So yeah. So now we get to the I guess now we get to the fun stuff. This fucked up little Fed world of ours.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So what was your introduction?
I've been a part of it for way
way too fucking long. I feel that.
I was at a metal show that I was supposed to be going there so I can meet the owner, so I can know like how to book at this certain venue. And outside of the venue was my now friend, Luke Alexander, which we met online. And he was trying to get me into doing this EFED stuff. But I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what you're talking about. And then while we were waiting in line, he kind of broke it down more for me. He said, it's like shit talking online, except we then write up like a wrestling match for it. And you can possibly win like virtual championships. And I was like, I'm great at shit talking. This is perfect. So 2012, like beginning of 2012-ish, and I jumped into this bored at home and didn't have anything to do. So I started just doing all these things. And then within a year, I was already being treated like I was a veteran or something, because I was like rather good at it and I knew my character, and I was so then I started getting other people involved in it, and I got like 5 people who are currently still doing it, like into this EFED stuff. And now I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm a father figure for a lot of them, but I don't want to put it out there all the time because there's not that much correlation.
Yeah, no, I think if I'm remembering right, I think it was both. I want to say it was Nick and Casey both who kind of attributed you to their entry.
Yeah, I'll say Nick, Casey, Simon Spores, Blake, and there's one other person. I don't think they're doing anything anymore though, so it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
I
Alicia.
only just oh, okay, yeah. I had just I've only like just in like the last few months or so really started actually getting to know Blake. I had never really known he existed, and I did not know there was any connection there.
Yeah.
So his girl right now told me, and I'm like, oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, you can.
So
the
yeah,
only
now
thing
we've
I
got
can attribute to him is pacing. But other than that, he's his own thing.
Yeah, he went a completely different route from everyone else that kind of crosses your path.
Yeah, everyone's loudmouth or spooky, and I'm like, yep, that's me.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of both. I think I kind of took the best of both worlds.
Miley Cyrus over here.
Hey. So I know me and Nick had talked like a little bit about SPW, but didn't really get that much into it. This was your thing, right?
Yeah, for the most. I mean, I became like the face of it, but when I got here, it was already going for like 2 years at that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was mostly Luke Alexander, Dan Hagney, and Grant Miller, and a couple of their friends that were scattered between United States and England. And they prided themselves on being like really good at shit talking and like having to put people through the ringer in order to have them prove their worth to join SPW. So it was like a hazing process for like a solid month. And then if you could hang with it and you did well, then you were like brought in and welcomed in, and then you fit right in. That's why like Casey, Nick, and Blake, they all hung with it. They could take it, and it helped develop the thick skin to keep going and not let promos really bother them too much. And that's why a lot of them accredit SPW to like how far they got, because it was a learning process, but it was also a hazing process to weed out the weak.
About what was the timeline of all of this?
I started 2000, end of 2011, early 2012, and then the last ever event I believe was the end of 2020.
Okay, I think I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, we had a last ever show happen, and then everyone's like, "I want another one."
I might have gone in there to spectate because I was still pretty. I think at the time I was still pretty hopped up on that IW Kool-Aid.
Yeah,
you know how it is.
We welcome to everybody that wanted to join. Welcome to join for the last ever event, because like we have some people who are doing stuff in IW. We had some people that are doing stuff all these other places, acronyms galore. Where it's like, if you want to see what they're doing, let out, but we're not going to be a thing after this event.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay, here's sort of an interesting one about What would you say was sort of
Okay.
was there like a specific moment that kind of made you feel like this could be more than just a little like kind of short-term hobby, that you kind of felt like, okay, this is something that I can stick with?
Well, for a long time, I was it because besides going to band practice, I didn't really have anything. Like the first 2, 3 years of me doing stuff, like I didn't have a job. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have like any outlets to be creative. I wasn't really constantly making music. So this was my thing. I would be a character. I'd set up the lighting, do editing and stuff, get my mind going,
Mm-hmm.
put it out there. And then it became special to me. But then it was like I started losing my interest to it, like
Mm-hmm.
2016, when everyone started breaking up and forming their own thing. And
Right.
then I got back into it for a little bit. Things started going sour. I lost a lot of connections with people, started getting real bitter about stuff, and fought so hard to leave this stuff for so long. But I said yes to so many people that I'm like, okay, well, I have to wait until this is done, and this is done, and this is
Right.
done.
Yeah.
And then I left IW. I went to High Society. It got a little
Mm-hmm.
better, but I was still kind of like, I don't know why I did this. I still want to leave. And then
Yeah.
HSW
That's a
shut down,
fun.
and I went to XWE, and then new scenery. I was like, okay, this could be good. I wrote myself off, and then I was like, shit, I'm not done. I still have so much left to do. So I came back, and here we are.
Yeah, the high society one is an interesting one because that's been coming up in a couple of shows lately. Me and Josh talked about it a bit. Nick talked about it a bit. Um, Pretty much, I think everyone I've had on who was there has had like some kind of opinion on it. So this is jumping like way ahead, but screw it.
All right.
um, I kind of have the feeling that with high society, it was kind of a false bill. It wasn't what it was cracked up to be, in my opinion. um
I I personally think they wanted to do something that like IW wasn't doing, and they had all these
mhm.
ideas. And they started off rather strong. They had the hype, they had some talent that wanted to prove themselves, they had all this stuff. But then you have so many people jump in. You have to make multiple shows. Then you have to
Yeah.
micromanage everything, and it runs its course because so much things ran by not enough people and ends up making everything suffer again, thus leaving you with what we had before, which is IW. You just wanted
Right.
to be something different, and then you ended up falling back into what you wanted to break yourself off from. The thing that
Hmm.
I liked about HSW though was they did a really good job at breaking down the stories in the videos results. They did a really good job of hyping it up and talking about the matches and stuff. But then
Hmm.
at the same time, they did way too many gimmicky things, like gimmick
Yeah.
matches and fun stuff, which kind of ruined some of the credibility.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
the first season wasn't as bad on like the kind of over the top gimmick stuff.
Yeah.
The second season was pretty rough on the gimmicks though.
Yeah. And this is coming from the guy
um
who is trash bag fed champion. So
oh god. Yeah.
gimmicky. Yeah.
um yeah, like with me, the high society thing is a lot of like a hindsight thing. At the time when it was going on in the moment, I was all in on it. Now in hindsight, I kind of look at where I actually was up here at the time, and I'm like, oh man, I was a fucking wreck.
Yeah. I put out
I
some
don't
of my
know.
best work in HSW, but I wish that I would have saved it for something that had more of a build up.
Uh huh. Um,
Because
Well,
Because I did
HSW
Ritual, and the
was
Ritual ended up just being all of us facing each other once over, and then it was nothing more. And it wasn't really
yeah,
anything to it. So
yeah. Like HSW was my first actual world title run, but it wasn't a good run at all. um, how I basically was kind of booked like one of those chicken shit champions, like running from everyone and doing like sneaky shit. And then
which
my
was weird
first
because it
like
didn't go with your character.
no, not at all, which was weird to me because these were people that I thought knew my shit and were always talking about how big a fan they are of me. But then you book me like I'm a total pussy. And then in like the second half of the first season, after I had dropped the title, I started I kind of started trying to go in sort of like kind of like a rebel face role. And it was actually starting to work and I was starting to kind of enjoy it again. But then after you guys had finished up the whole Ritual thing, they moved Dylan over to the same brand as I was on, and then they wanted to basically reform the New Divine without Crimson. So everything I had done in the second half of that first season was basically fucking retconned, and I had to go back to being dark and cryptic.
Yeah.
When like, no, I wasn't having fun with that. I liked kind of being the kind of in your face, fuck the system rebel. I was enjoying that. But no.
Yeah, that was
And
kind of
then
like my start to everything. Was I was kind of like that, and then I just got jaded, and I was like, nah, fuck this. I'm gonna be evil.
yeah. Well, I don't know. There was a couple, and that second season was very rough. Was rough for me specifically because I don't know how much you were keeping up with like what I was doing specifically. Because I think you were still on the other brand, so you're probably more like tuned into what you were doing over there. Kind of like how I was more tuned into what I
I
was
would check
doing
out
on my
things if they
side.
sent it to me.
Yeah. Well, in that period of time in the second season, I had at one point shaved my whole ass head. Remember, I had the really fucking long hair, and then one day I just went fucking skinhead bald, like fucking this, but everything. Just took it all off. I actually hold on.
I forgot that you had the headphones. I was like, homie, you're about to take everything out.
No, but I actually still have my hair from that time period right here.
That's creepy.
I don't know why I still have it. What I meant to do with it, I was gonna donate it. That's why I still kept it like in the tied up, but then I fucking procrastinated, and then all these years later I still have the shit, and it's like, well, I don't really know what to do with it now, so I'm just kind of holding on to it. Maybe I can use it for something later. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But then with that, like right after that, I like completely killed off the Blair character for a while and started doing something completely different. Which was at the time Tyrion Moreau. I don't know if you remember that one at all.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that one was fucking weird. It was weird, but it worked a bit at the time because it was very different. Like it still had that kind of cryptic, creepy aesthetic, but it had this more lighthearted tune to it at the same time.
Yeah.
It's
good to mix things up.
Yeah, and people liked it, but it was a thing.
I was thrown off when you changed your name because I was like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
I
That was
wasn't paying
basically
attention to the promos. I just saw the Facebook and I was like, "Huh?"
yeah, like who the fuck is this guy? um, it was yeah, that was basically kind of a thing of I felt like I had kind of felt like in a position where I was at, I had run my course and was I either need to change my shit or step away. And so that was my thing. I had tried to change my shit. It worked for a few months. Then I burned out again and took like a year off.
Yeah. I mean, I've been there. I said, "Oh, I
Yeah.
got a knee injury. Just write it in there," and then I just came back like 5-6 months later, and then you
Yeah,
got Mask Joey, where then I just killed
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. So we I jumped ahead a bit, but we'll go back in time to IW because that's kind of where really this connection that's where this formed back then. But that's still like a few years down from when you had got in there.
I'm gonna try to restart my camera, so just bear with me. I'm gonna try to answer your question still.
Oh, okay. It might cut you off for a few minutes because I know when you tried to restart it earlier, it had kind of kicked you off the stream for a minute. So are you still gonna try or?
Yeah, just keep going. I can hear you. So
okay. So how did you find your way into IW?
IW was brought to my attention through Nick. Nick, no, it was through Zach Monstar because I brought Zach Monstar. I brought Zach Monstar in.
Oh, lost him. If you're hearing this right now in this moment, this is an SOS. Vegas is having technical difficulties and is, I don't know, having to restart his shit or something. So I'm having to kind of flounder by myself. I could really use someone to go back and forth with if you're hearing this. Oh, wait, he's back. He's back. Okay, we're good. Never mind. I don't need you anymore. Bye.
I'm sorry. I had to find headphones and put it on my phone. My computer's like, nah, son, we done.
Yeah, I figured that was the case. It's funny right there. I was just sending a voice message to Daniel like, this is an SOS if you hear this right now. I'm struggling. I need help. Oh, wait, he's back. I don't need you anymore. Fuck you. Okay, this is actually like, that is actually a lot better. Not even gonna lie.
Okay, cool. You can see Sleeping Evie behind me.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, like you're a lot more fluid.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my shitty computer.
Great showing from it, huh? Great showing. So let's see. We were at Zach.
Yes. So Zach brought me in because I found out about him through the actual wrestling, not eFeds. And he joined the Just Plain Filthy crew. And I sponsored him. And then I was like, hey, you want to come into SPW to be my tag team partner? He was like, hell yeah. So we started doing some stuff. He returned to IW. And then it was like, hey, you want to come in and help me? We're doing this whole feud thing where I'm about to go into war with a bunch of people. I could use some help. So I came in, and ever since then, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm here now. And then he left. I was still there. And then just developed into what you kind of see now. But it was like 2 years of me just being this, but talking spooky.
Okay.
Which was not good.
So I'm guessing you were kind of just doing the TJ Vegas name for all this, for like all this time up to like
yeah, I think at that point I might have been Joey Taylor as a name, but I didn't have a gimmick. It was just me just being like, oh, you think you're bad? Oh, I'm gonna put you in a grave. Kind of shit. It was not good. But it wasn't until something bad happened that I was just like, okay, yeah, I need to change all this up. And then I got a look, and then it was skyrocketing from there.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I remember when I had come into IW about middle of 2018.
Yeah.
I had kind of started in, let's see, I had come in like that summer. They were doing the whole off-season gimmick. Delta was still running, and it was a Klein that had brought me in. He had just randomly found me one day, like a puppy on the side of the road.
An orphan, yeah.
Yeah. And they just, I guess, kind of, I was unproven. I had like no work anywhere else. I had done a few months in a fed that me and some friends created the year prior called SWA, Star Wrestling Association. And I had done some shit in there. But at this point in time, I had kind of fallen out with them. So they deleted all my shit and I didn't have it saved. At the time, I wasn't even using the TJ Blair name. I was actually using a completely different name. I was going by Arthur Price was my name at the time.
Yeah.
And personally, I feel like that is a much better name than what I got now. I feel like I screwed myself.
Then you got to go. It's time to pay the price.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing. It was like, I think my thing was bend the knee and pay the price.
The tip of the hat back, and that's the price you pay.
Yeah. So yeah, but when I had come in there, I just like had just come up. I just come up with the name on a just random whim, and then very shortly into my Delta run, that's when fucking Arson found me and started acclimating me with other people. And he started, you remember his thing of like all the fucking group chats and shit, having like a million fucking chats with a million fucking people, like 10 group chats all with the same group of people.
Yeah, he was like, add TJ Vegas, and then 3 seconds later, but TJ Vegas has left the group chat.
Yeah. I remember that was always a thing. So it's like you'd pop in and then like very shortly after you'd pop right back out. But I remember one of these chats that existed that I came into, and I came in, and I think this was one of those times you just so happened to be active. You saw my name pop up and you go, "Oh God, another fucking TJ."
There were so many.
I didn't even realize that at the time. I'll tell you what, I've never actually told this story, and if he's listening to this now, he might hate me again. The same friend I had talked about earlier that I did the SWA thing with, he had a he used to go by TJ as a nickname. So for some reason, I felt like just taking the name for myself and being an ass. It was a spite thing because I didn't get along with him at the time. That's how it came up. Yeah, so that's kind of how it came up, and it was really stupid. But yeah, had kind of been through that. Got to ride that fucking carnival ride that was being affiliated with Jack fucking Arson.
I can't believe that at one point in time I was in the tag team like Grand Prix thing, and it was me, Grant Miller, Zach Monstar, and Jack Arson, and then Jack Arson just kind of went AWOL because of drugs and stuff, and then we're like, okay, I guess we're doing a trio, and then we won. And I was like, cool, he was weighing us down.
I mean, like, to be fair, that 3 alone would probably be considered sort of like a fucking all-star team.
Yeah.
Just that alone. Because, yeah. But I remember whenever I had came up and started doing stuff on Alpha, I think you were hardcore champion at the time.
Yeah, I had like 3 reigns as that, I think.
Mm-hmm. I know you were specifically around the end of that season.
Yeah.
You had like dropped it right at the end of the season. And then that's when the whole like filth thing came back up.
And it started off well, and then it crashed and burned in a fiery death.
Yeah.
How dare you pick up my baby and kick it? Fucking Dan.
Yeah, that was a thing. I mean, I know all of you have a perspective of it because it was something all of you felt very special about. Me being the fucking noob, I'm like, yo, this is sick.
Yeah, you're like, this is what they're about? Oh, hell yeah, I'm about this too. It's like, no, we're about taking out security guards and setting fire to places, not accidentally breaking into IWPD's thing and like playing practical jokes.
Yeah. But I remember because that was the reformation happened on, it was that WrestleCade. I was part of a different group at the time, with Ethan Carnage, Daniel, and Sebastian Saint. We were the Rapture. And then I had turned on them on that show because Daniel and Sebastian had a habit of no-showing all the time, and that was one of those times. So they completely...
That's a good reason.
Yeah, and then Jason had shifted into doing like the main event stuff, so there was really... And me and him were carrying the group, so it's like this thing doesn't even need to exist anymore.
Yeah,
so
and at that point, it's just him representing one thing. You're just there, and then who else is doing the Rapture?
Yeah, like they weren't doing anything really, and it was just us two. So it just kind of got split off, and then I don't really know what my original plan was going to be after that. I had always assumed I was going to break off into solo shit. But then one day I get a message from Nick, who hadn't really talked to me very much. We had like one match in Delta like months prior, and then that was kind of it.
Yeah.
So then I get this message from him one day. Want to get filthy?
I feel like that's always his pitch. I have like a paragraph thing whenever I'm asking people, and he just goes, "Want to get filthy?" As if everybody knows what that means.
I had just so because, again, this was kind of a thing where one of Arson's dropout fuck-ups benefited me. And being associated with him kind of worked out in my favor because he was that fourth guy.
Yeah, he was supposed to be.
He was that fourth member. And then he started doing a bunch of stupid shit and got kicked out. How do you remember my name coming up?
I remember we were originally looking for people who were kind of darker and newer to like overall IW, because it was me, it was Casey, it was Nick, and it was Alicia. We were the 4 people that were filth in SPW. So if we come in, we want to get somebody from IW, somebody who is newer that we can kind of mold a little bit more and give something for them to do, so they're not just floating around. And we're looking through everybody, and we're like, well, Jack Arson could work because, you know, spooky mask, he's kind of loudmouth, he's in your face, that works. And then one of the other people, I don't remember, there was 2 other people, I don't remember who the third one was. But then we're like, oh, TJ Blair could probably work. He's in another group, but like if we figure out what's going on with them, or we can create a storyline, we can have him come over.
Yeah.
And then it just ended up working out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not
like,
really, because we know all how that one happened. So
yeah.
it went as good as it could have,
Yeah.
given the circumstances.
I don't know. My perspective, I had fun with it at least.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you know what you wanted and you know what you've done. And then the fact that it wasn't perceived as well as it could have been, and it made you kind of caricatures of what you wanted. It makes a little sour. Like whenever I talk about filth, I almost never mean the filth from IW.
Right.
Unless that is the topic.
Right.
Like now.
Yeah, like now. I know there were a couple things, well, actually a lot of things from that kind of stuck with me majority. One of those was, what was this?
It's a bionicle dick.
I don't know, just started like using the fucking meat hook weapon and shit.
I know what you did last summer, ass weapon.
Yeah, right. And that was, I swear, I think that was supposed to be a fucking rib from Dan. I don't think he meant for that to be like a serious thing.
Yeah.
I don't think
he
was like coming up. He was like coming up. I think he was just trying to come up with like the most like outlandish shit because he really wanted me to be a fucking Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers type movie monster.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, so he said, let's turn you into fucking Jacob Goodnight over here.
It would have been better if you still had your bald head.
Yeah. I think my hair was shorter at the time anyway, but yeah. It wasn't the same. But
it's like I'm bald, I hate my mom, I got a fish hook, like I'm good.
Yeah, all like other than I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all true. But there was I don't think he actually expected me to actually commit to it and actually make something out of it. And one way or another, I made this shit work. And it's now a part of me. I remember another thing that you mentioned the write up about busting into police stations and shit.
Yeah.
I remember. I swear. I think this was done just because I was a super fat fuck, cannonballing the door down.
Yeah. There were so many things that I'm like, if we were just like getting in there and like to plant seeds or to like do something maniacal, like I'd be okay with this. But it was literally like a buddy cop movie kind of bullshit about us like breaking in and then playing jokes and then just like weird comedic tropes. And I was like, where are we going? Yeah, it was like a weird mix
because like, yeah, because it was like I remember like that thing in particular, it was like this weird mix of like skits and there was a little bit of like comic stuff in there. Then there was, some fighting and whatnot. Alicia stabbed Justin Klein.
Yeah. and they're like trying to get all this stuff. And I'm like, nah, son, promo in the bathroom, like all the rest of my shit. I'll let you do what you do, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah. And then, yeah, it was kind of after that whole IWPD thing, it just kind of became a thing that sort of existed for a few months.
Yeah, I think after the IWPD thing is one of the people in IWPD busted my knee. And then I dipped for a while, and then I came back and took my revenge on everybody at Filth for making us a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And I came back with the mask, the paint, the new vibe, and then it was like, okay, filth no more.
Yeah, you started with me.
I don't know why, but I mean, I was like, fuck it, we gotta start with somebody.
I think it kind of worked out because this was around the time I was also basically like co-writing every show, and I think whenever it was made to disband, it was made to have me be the one to turn on everyone.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you were already gone. I think Alicia was the first one gone, then you, and then it was just down to me, Nick, and Doomsayer. He had joined in the fray at the end. So it was basically just down to the three of us. So then they wrote that I was gonna turn, do a thing with Nick, and then that spawned one of me and Nick's constant fucking inside jokes. Because at some point, me or him or both of us or somebody made some reference to this shit being a dumpster fire. So then me and Nick's blow off match was a dumpster match.
Poetic.
Yeah. It was done specifically out of spite because someone in the fold referred to the whole thing as a massive dumpster fire. So it was made a dumpster match, and I threw Nick White in a dumpster. And I'll still bring that up sometimes in character to fuck with him.
What was it, Nick? A dumpster fire?
Yeah. I actually... when I was recording with him the other day, like I said, we had gone like 3 hours, and right at the end of it, I go, "Man, this was quite the dumpster fire show, wasn't it?" And he's like, and then he started, yeah. I think that was the quote, "You motherfucker."
Yeah.
And then I think it was right after that. I think that was when you came back, because they were building it as I had a mystery opponent coming in, and they wouldn't tell me who it was, and then it was you. But at the time, I don't know how you felt about it, but looking back now, that was not what it could have been.
No.
Not even close. Because like I was not in a good space. I had like pretty much from like when I started in IW until like March, April of that year, the reason I was so fucking active all the time was because I didn't have a fucking job or anything at all the time in the world.
You needed to occupy your time.
Yeah. Well, then I had started working and lost all of that free time I had, and it was a very shitty, very gruesome, grueling job. It's funny that my weapon of choice is a meat hook, because that job just so happened to be in a butcher shop, and it was hell. I hated every day of it. I hated every single day of it. So yeah, that was one of those things where it's like, fuck, that could have been way better.
Both of us on our A game would have been sick with that story being told too.
Yeah,
because like we both had a good thing going for this last event. Like a month ago when this comes out. But like back then with the story that was building up with it, that would have been great.
Could have been really cool. It could have been like, I'm the fucking. I kind of like to say I think, I don't know how accurate I guess you can confirm this for me. Kind of like how they built Tyson Kidd as the last student of the Heart Dungeon. I think I might have been the last of the Filth Dojo.
Yeah, I don't think we've really brought anybody under our wing or like tried to give advice or anything to anybody since you. Yeah, so yeah, that would work out.
Yeah, so it's like I'm kind of that
I remember we did like a group, and we're like, "Hey, if you guys have anything," and then nobody really asked questions or anything like that, and we're just like, "Nah, fuck this. If you guys need us, hit us up in our DMs," and you're like the only one we still talk to. So
which is because like I know I was always at the time, especially I was always really bad at asking for like advice and stuff because like I was just not a social person.
Dude, I'm still bad at it.
Yeah, like I'm not saying I'm good at it now, but I've tried to get a little better. A little bit. Just baby steps.
Yeah, I still ask people for like their opinions or any nitpicks and stuff, and people don't do it. They just go, "Bro, you're Joey." And I went, "Yes, but that's not feedback. Give me feedback."
Yeah. I've found I really kind of enjoy the sort of like, I guess, kind of studying and breaking down the like video, because this is kind of a thing. Me and in the last few months, me and Iron Bison have gotten to be pretty good friends, and he's always sending me his shit, and then I'll like send him like a 4 or 5 minute clip just breaking down whatever it is he's sending to me. So I'm kind of like one of his fucking go-to analysts.
Might need to hit you up more about this stuff. Nobody else does it.
Hey, fuck it. Like if you got some shit, send it to me.
I know I did it like the last event that we referred to. I sent you a couple things, and you did the same thing, and we're like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." So.
Yeah. That whole thing, the invasion build, that was a much better like sort of start to something. I feel like if there is like continuations, I feel like they're almost.
And once again, I'm a mystery opponent.
Yeah. That's that's how it went. You were supposed to be the you were the mystery, and fuck, I was so jealous whenever it was you that got revealed, because you got fucking Wolf and I got Thomas Austin.
Yeah, I think they just like pulled everything randomly.
And I'm like, fuck, man.
Now I gotta drop 75 fucking promos? God damn it.
Well, no, I only had to fucking drop 2 because he didn't drop anything until like the day before deadline, or the day of.
I would have just been like, video 3, here's me and Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
That's what. Oh man, see, like, this is why. Like now, I'm wishing, man, I wish I would have been in your ear at that time, because like I so would have done that shit, because I was being just kind of a cocky dick. At that point, I totally would have done that shit.
I love being cocky. I love being me doing promos. It's so fun.
Yeah, like I've kind of, I don't know if it's like I'm this very weird form of jaded, where it's like I know, okay, a lot of people are really shit and don't give a fuck. Most people in that sort of jaded mindset would be like, well, they don't give a fuck. Why should I? Me, I'm like, okay, they don't give a fuck. So I'm going to take this opportunity to make them all look really fucking bad. And it's worked out a bit. It worked out a little bit. But I was like, fuck. It's like that Dolph Ziggler meme. It should have been me.
Yeah. Like, I have that reaction to a lot of things.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'll just say this. I'm amicable with Thomas. I don't really have a feeling one way or another. He's behind the character has always been cordial with me, and it's, cool, whatever. But it was not a creatively beneficial contest that we had.
I've went out and said to multiple people, like booking wise, whenever I go in somewhere, I was like, there's not many people I don't want to work with, but in a singles contest, I don't want to work with Thomas. And it's not because I hate him as a person. I don't know him as a person, but I'm not a fan of his style, and the fact that he drops so many things makes me have to sit there and watch all like 20 of these fucking promos in case he says something that I need to know about. and I can't do it. It's too much for me. I don't
Yeah.
have the time of day to do that. That's why I drop like 2
Oh, yeah.
videos and dip.
Yeah. He's not that active anymore. Like he's not as nearly as like crazy with like just the spam drops like he used to be.
Yeah.
You know, like now you want to talk about someone who just fucking this, you know, this is a fun segue because this one's kind of started some shit. You want to talk about someone who drops 1 million promos a day? Can you guess where I'm going with this?
Possibly. I don't want to like just assume. So just give me it.
Rocky T.
Okay. I know where we're going now.
Yeah.
Let me hear it.
You guys had done a thing.
Yes.
And you had a match when he was,
and it was good. Honestly, it was very good.
It honestly was. There were some moments though.
Yeah. Moments that spawned some merch.
Yeah.
That apparently a lot of people have. I don't remember who bought it.
I remember Casey Moran did because he just recently did a thing with Rocky and he pulled that shirt out.
Love it.
He pulled that shirt out. I think Nick's worn it on camera a couple times. I was not one of the ones who got one of those though. I missed the boat on that one because I don't think I had.
Yeah, I think there's like 5 people who own it.
Yeah. But yeah, the knee pad thing.
Knee pad club, yeah.
Yeah. What was it like?
I tried to jump him. I tried to jump him either before or after a match to take out his knee with a crowbar so that I could have the upper hand in our match. And then I hit him and he sold it. And then the match happened and he was like, ha ha ha, no sell, brother, got a knee pad on. And I was like, the fuck? And then just like proceeded to kick my ass and take the title. And I was like, what was all this for? You're building me up. You're telling me I got some good shit going on. Things are going to look up. And then you pull knee pad club out of nowhere and then I lose.
Yeah. It's funny because I've just recently sort of had not exactly like that, but something similar happened with someone else in IW where we had this thing where we had this agreement that we had this story going into, and then immediately after talking, they just buried the whole story.
Oh.
like said just some downright stupid shit that just completely ruined it. And I'm like, fuck, what am I supposed to do now? Like, we haven't, like, our match hasn't even been announced yet, and you've already no-sold the whole plot. What do I do now?
It's all up in the air now. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, I'll improvise. It's what I do best in fucking IW.
Yeah, that's what you kind of have to
improvise and make shit work.
Turn chicken shit into chicken salad.
Yeah. I had sort of a on again, off again thing in there. I had gone back. That was like the first place I popped back up in after I finished my year off back in October. I popped back up in there, and then first match back, won the hardcore title, and then I was like just dropping like bomb after bomb to the point where they said, you know what, we're gonna fucking put Money in the Bank on this guy. Then I won Money in the Bank, and then I fell out with Ness and left.
Yeah.
So then they gave Money in the Bank to Bubba Boudreaux. And then I was convinced to come back. So now we've got 2 briefcases running around. So that's a thing, but thinking back to
You
sort
gotta
of
get the
that.
other one and be 2 briefcase Blair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Walk around like Brock
Oh
Lesnar
yeah,
with the
yeah.
boomboxes,
Got the double boom box going
and then be
on.
like, "What? I can't hear you."
Yeah,
What?
I know when I had gone back in October, I won the hardcore title, and then what I had also started doing right after that, because when I had left the first time, it was the whole Exodus thing. I was United States champion when we all left.
I was the
So
world
when I
heavyweight
came,
champion.
yeah, you were Alpha champion. I was United States champion in Omega. So when I came back, I pulled that US title back out, had the hardcore title, and I'm like, call me Blair 2 belts, baby. Or was it was either Blair 2 belts or TJ 2 belts. I don't remember, but and
I
then
don't know.
I wanted to do this on where I was carrying both belts around and then have the briefcase. So I got the briefcase and then I got the 2 belts. I'm basically just a fucking achievement hunter. I'm the achievement hunter.
You gotta be like Kenny Omega with all the belts.
Yeah, fucking belt collector.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. Instead, I won the Money in the Bank, and then immediately after that, they had me drop the hardcore title. Literally, right after the Money in the Bank match, they turned around and hit me with a surprise hardcore title match that I then immediately lost. Because at that point, they felt I was too good to be hardcore champion, which I didn't want to lose that fucking title. I wanted to elevate that shit.
Yeah, and so it's not just every gimmicky thing.
Yeah, because Dan would always be like, no one takes the hardcore title seriously, blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, I want to fucking take this seriously. Like this thing, yeah, use the fucking booker might look at it a certain way, but me, whenever I've got something, I'm gonna treat it like it's the most important thing in the world. So when I've got this hardcore title, I'm gonna treat it like it's the fucking world heavyweight title to me.
Yeah, I did something similar to that with the US title when I was on Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I ain't never leaving this shit. And I'm like yelling at and then I was like rocking back and forth, sitting on the ground and be like, they ain't taking you from me. They ain't taking you from me. Yeah.
Oh man. But didn't get to do that. And then oh well. But kind of going back, we'll that 2020 period, the year it started off and pandemic shit happened, everything started like shutting down and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that was a crazy time, wasn't it? How did that whole thing affect you? Like everything everything going to shit like that in the fucking world.
I just stayed working.
Oh yeah,
I
were one of the ones.
I
You were
wasn't
one of the
playing
ones that got
shows
to
at
keep
the.
working.
Yeah, because I work at a retail store, and I work on the front end, so I just kept going there. I was like, this is bullshit. Everyone's like, you're so brave. I'm like, bitch, go home. And
I got the
so
same
that
shit
was most of my day, and I wasn't playing shows anymore at that point in time. I had a couple events in 2019, and then nothing ever got booked again. So I was kind of just waiting, and then when everything shut down, I was like, I guess I ain't doing anything for a while. So I was doing e-feds, I was doing podcast over Discord, and I was writing articles for my website, and that's literally it.
Yeah. At the time, like that whole year of IW, I know you were on Alpha, I was on Omega. So like we were kind of in separate planes. So like, and it's kind of like what we talked about with the HSW thing, where it's like, I was at the time, I was actually in protest against Alpha. I didn't want anything to do with alpha. I think I every time, if there was not a particular reason that I needed to be there for like a one-off show or something, like one of the brand versus brand things, or one of the big like joint show, or Rumble or whatever. If I was not booked for one of those, I was not a member of the alpha page. They would have to keep inviting me back, because I had been on alpha for like a year or two, and I hated it after once the whole filth thing fell apart, and I just kind of stagnated for a good.
Like, what do I do now?
I had taken like a break after that.
Yeah, you're like, I left one group that I had something to do in, and then this other group kind of just disbanded that I had something to do with. Now I'm by myself, and we don't have plans. Like, what?
Yeah, I think I went on like a losing streak.
You might have.
Let's see, that was 2019. Filth had gone down. We had done the this was this might have been around, it might have been Rumble time. There was the Rumble, and then there was like an extra battle royal for people who didn't make the Rumble cut, and I was one of the people who didn't make the Rumble cut. So I had gone and like raised a shitstorm about it on the page. I like went on and kind of like was like, how the fuck do you not have me in this Rumble match? What the fuck is wrong with you people?
We don't got Blair, but we got professional bowler Billy Gore.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if he was in it either, but what happened was what spawned out of that was they created a completely different, basically it was weird because it was like almost like it was like a consolation battle royal that I was then put in. And then it didn't even have like it ended in like a 4-way tie.
Just throw the other two over the top.
Like what ended up happening, it was like it almost went like, remember the 2005 Rumble when Cena and Batista eliminated each other sort of on accident? They literally landed at the exact same time.
Did that with 4 people?
Yeah, did that with 4 people.
That is dumb.
So what spawned out of that was after the season break, the 4 of us, it was trying to remember who all it was. I think it was me. It was Chicago Savage. It was, I can't remember who the other 2 names were. Doomsayer might have been one of them. And I don't remember who the 4th one was. We got, or it might, I can't remember. Now I'm starting to not remember if it was 3 of us or 4 of us. Because, no, it was 3. It was me, Savage, and Taylor, I want to say. We, at the premiere of the following season, they made a fatal 4-way match with us and Rocky. I lost that, of course, because of course.
Yeah, I was going to say, of course you did.
Yeah. And then I think I had done a match with Dave Barron, and he mopped the fucking floor with me because that's kind of just what he does. He's my fucking kryptonite. And then
your kryptonite's a person. Mine's fucking knee pads.
I'll have to oh wait. You know what? I am going to have to remember that.
Oh no. I'm gonna have to call for all the rest of my gimmicks to come and attack you before the event.
It's like you say screwdriver, I say knee pad. You took my face, you won't take my knees. But I think after the Baron thing, I was starting to kind of get burned out, and I'm like, I think I want to write myself off for a while. So I just kept up with the losing streak thing, just kept losing and losing and losing. And then it ended with I had done an open challenge gimmick. Savage had answered, and then I got wrote off, and then took like pretty much kind of took the rest of the year off. I don't count a specific few months that I had come back and did a dog shit gimmick. I don't count that. So then that kind of goes into the 2020 years when New Divine started up. Me, Crimson, and Mason.
Yeah.
Do you remember any of like what you were doing on Alpha at the time? Like sort of that early period?
Because I knew after Filth broke up, I did. I ran through the entire Filth crew. I got 2 or 3 more people that I just destroyed, and then I went for the world title again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember too much of like a time frame, but I know I lost against Rocky, and then we did a whole nother thing. I went back for the chase one more time, and then I won.
Yeah, that I do remember. I remember this like chase for I think it was the Alpha title specifically. Because I guess the only person who can have the world that big world title is Rocky.
Yeah, because after I got it, I was going to try to defend it, and I remember word got out from some people who are close to me, and they said, well, they were planning on stripping you of the title the next event anyway. And I was like, oh, well, okay then. Well, I already said everything that I need to say. I've already done everything here that I wanted to do. My whole checklist is filled. If they want to get it off of me, that's cool. I don't mind leaving. The disrespect, fuck you. And that's when the Mass Exodus thing happened. And they're like, hey, we're making our own thing. Do you want to leave? And I was like, I already did everything I needed to do. I'm good.
Yeah. I remember at the time when, because, I don't know how familiar you are with the whole New Divine run, but the long and
everything
short of it
knew I got in secondhand information from Casey.
Yeah, because he was doing Omega. He was doing Omega at the time, and we were constantly feuding with him and a group he was with that he now sincerely despises that time period because of that group he was in. And I completely understand why, given the main person. But anyway, that's a different story. I don't remember if I touched on it with him or not whenever I did the show with him, but we were constantly doing stuff back and forth with them, and the whole basis, New Divine kind of dominated Omega for like 12 months straight. Dang. We were like consistently one of the best stories going, which was weird because it was like me and Crimson got put together. We had never spoken to one another before, had never even looked each other's way. I think I had specifically told him, I don't know that I'd ever seen any of your stuff before, man. So like, what's your shit? And then he's like, that's okay. I don't think I've seen any of your stuff either. So we were totally blind to one another. And it was one of those things we just kind of clicked immediately. And then eventually Dylan came in, another person I had no idea even existed, but they were really close, real life friends.
Yeah.
And we just like bulldozed. Like we held the tag titles for like the first half of the season. And then by the end of the second half of the season, we had pretty much every singles title except for the Omega World title.
I think around that time was when I was doing Alpha, but I was also doing a Gone.
Yeah, Gone was a thing. That's right.
Because I had a flawless first season and I became the champion.
Yeah, I think I was a spectator in the first season of Gone, and then I actually tried to compete in the second one. And that was one of those times where I'm like, I'm not built for comp.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to be Joey the first season. And then after I lose it, I'm dipping and I'm coming back as TJ. And it was 50-50 when I came back as TJ. But I was flawless and undefeated until my second title defense as the world champion of Gone.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember. I was either 2-1 or I was 1-2 before it like stopped in the second season.
Yeah.
Because then, all that drama went down and then it closed down. Then they tried to reopen it and it was all just a big old bag of worms.
I was gonna try to just wait as see how many like seasons they did, and then just change my gimmick every season.
Yeah, I feel like had things not gone the way they did, then it probably. I feel like so many people loved that it probably would have gone on for a very long time had things not gone the way they went down.
I think I'd be able to get like 7 or 8 seasons.
Oh yeah, it could have gone. It could have gone.
Yeah.
It could have gone. It probably would have still been going today. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
But oh well. So yeah, I kind of forget about Agon, but I know a lot of people. I know like Nick talked specifically about how like Agon was a very big thing, and then you just brought it up. So like yeah, I feel bad for leaving it out a lot of the times because it was like fuck.
I liked it a lot because I liked it a lot because not only did like it have a really good roster for the first like 2 seasons, but I said earlier I always want feedback and people don't give me feedback. So it was a place where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do some good stuff. I have regulations and rules I gotta stick to, so that limits what I'm doing. And then at the end of everything, they judge you and they give you feedback. So it's like, oh, so I can get better and I can do what I'm good at and I can compare it to other people in real time. This is dope.
Yeah.
It's not like writing up a match because there was no write up to a match.
No. Yeah, I know brought up Bison earlier. He's now started his own little comp thing called Cerberus, and it kind of gives me those vibes a little bit. It's like a genuine like cool like comp setting that's not full of bullshit and people bitching and moaning. It's fucking pretty chill actually. Like I'm actually really thinking about getting involved with it on like more than a spectator level, and that's saying something because again I don't do comp.
I ain't going anywhere. I'm like I'm only here for the story. I ain't dipping anywhere. I ain't doing shit.
Yeah, it's like if I wasn't such good friends with Lee and I didn't trust him as much as I do with the comp stuff, I would watch, but I wouldn't do it. But it's like, okay, I know I can at least trust you with this because you're not going to bullshit me and you're not going to put me up with people who are going to bullshit me if I do this. So
yeah.
If it was any other situation, I'd be like, nah, not my thing.
I get that.
Yeah. There was one Joey promo though from like the Alpha stuff, one that I remember specifically. At least I remember this once. I don't remember if it was an Alpha thing or if it was like an XWE thing, but it was like almost like a deep dive into the childhood of Joey Taylor.
Oh, that was the tail end of IW Alpha. It was me and Cody Omega.
Yeah, it was
Cody decided I'm going to go down to your hometown and I'm going to set your house on fire. The house that you grew up in on fire. So I did this whole thing where we did a deep dive into the childhood of Joey Taylor, where we visited the childhood house that was burnt down, and then I went through the entire house and it's all dilapidated and dusty and stuff, and I'm talking like, oh, this is the living room where when my dad would come home, he would take his food and sit down, and we all have to wait in the kitchen because if we made a peep and we disrupted his resting in silence, he would get very angry and take it out on us. And that's where all this mental torment came from. Oh, and this is my sister's room where this happened, and this is my room where I had to sit there in silence and cry against the wall. And I did the whole entire thing, and then it all culminated with him being like, I'm burning it down. And then I'm like, and I'm taking your fucking life. And then I won the title.
Yeah, that was. I remember when I had seen it. There are like, I've always said this, and I'm gonna kiss your ass a little bit, okay?
It's okay. Just wear chapstick.
Yeah. There are very few people who hold my undivided attention like you do with the Joey stuff. It's just like
Thank you.
unreal. I'm just like, holy fuck.
Sometimes I
And
watch mine
that
back and I
was,
think I'm drawing things out, and I'm like, who the hell is gonna actually still pay attention? And then people are like, oh, you got my attention this whole entire thing. I was like, am I that good of a storyteller? I think I'm half-assed half the time.
like, basically from it was kind of thing from that point forward. Whenever I'd see, oh, Joey Taylor's posted a video, stop what you're doing. Because yeah,
Were you the one that
that
said
whole
that you
thing
showed
was,
your sister my video and she was like, what?
yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. We were going to a micro wrestling show. We were sitting in the hotel room, and you had just dropped your direct response to me. So I was watching it, and I was just sitting on the bed, like fucking just ear to ear grinning the whole time watching it. And my sister walks in, and she's like, "What are you watching over there?" And I'm like, "Okay, you're a bit of an artist. You might have some appreciation for this." So I showed it to her, and she's like, okay, I have no idea about a lot of this wrestling stuff. And she was half buzzed, but she's like, these visuals are fucking awesome.
It's literally me, a mask, a bathroom, and my phone.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how like in depth you can actually make something without actually having much there. Like you said, it's
Yeah.
just you and like you with a mask in a tiny little room, but it just feels like there's so much going on.
Yeah. And then
It
the
was
lighting
so
is literally the drive-up carts for my store. One of them fell off the drive-up cart, and I just picked it up and brought it home.
I
So
love
it's
that hanging.
red.
I love that. Yeah, I
So
love
it's
it.
red and flashing and stuff, and then I decrease the saturation and I increase the brightness and put a vignette filter on it. So you get the dark on the sides and then light but not red for the whole
Ah,
thing. And then I'm like, oh, that works enough. Let's put it out there.
yeah, that's great. I love. I've gotten more of an appreciation for the more practical effects.
Yeah.
Because in like the last year or so, I've been someone who like kind of relies on the like meticulous production with the like the green screens and shit. But I'm getting to a point where it's like I'm running out of shit to do with that. Like I've damn near hit my ceiling with that style. So
Yeah.
it's time to start kind of bringing it back down and being, kind of going back to the roots in a way. Because there was a long time where I didn't have that, and I was very much reliant on like the more practical stuff, and made it work pretty well. And
I will
that's
say
kind of what
things
I'm.
that work very well right now is minimalism. You have to I want, like, say you have just a blank white wall, like kind of like the one that you're in front of right now, but with
Uh-huh.
good lighting to make sure you're in focus and the brightness in the back stays bright. Put like a ring light right there, but don't put it right on you. Catch it off to the side so it fills the room with light. Black
Mm,
pops, white pops, and then you're in focus. Creates a little bit of an uneasy feeling and also makes you the focal point. And then everything
mm,
you say, like, there's no distractions. There's nothing in the back of
yeah.
you. There's nothing in forefront. It's just you and what you're saying. And you create a vibe
Mm.
like that, and it helps a lot.
Yeah, I know one of the practical tricks I always really liked using, which worked for me because I'm pale as shit anyway. When light hits me, I tend to just fucking shine. So
TJ Blair is evolving.
yeah, so one of the things I would always like to utilize would be just to get like completely in the dark, but the glow off my whatever screen I'm recording on would light me up just enough to where you can see my face, but nothing else. You don't know what the rest of me's doing, but you're locked in right here.
One of the things I'm kind of confused with that I do is whenever I do Joey promos, have you noticed that I never blink?
Oh my god.
I can't do that normally when I'm just like me, but it's like something clicks and I'll just like tell a whole promo and I'm just like, and I'll just keep going. And then blacking out your eyes make it so the eyes are the only thing that stands out, and then those don't blink. I just love it so much. I'm like, I don't know how I do it. I don't know why I do it, but I'm glad I do it. It's the only thing that I do that really stands out.
It's funny because this was another thing that Nick kind of talked to me about. He just kind of started getting Alicia back into the fold, and she just did a thing with the kind of going back to the whole, like, I guess, kind of dark shit. And on this last the invasion card did it, and he lost his shit because this whole like 3.5 minute video never blinked once, did she?
Yeah.
And then listening, it got me thinking, like, I need to start keeping track on my fucking blinking, because I feel like there are times where I just do that.
Yeah, if the light's not too harsh, it's super easy.
Yeah. I've also got this thing where, like, I am one of those that will just sometimes go into a spell of just, oh, I forgot I should probably be blinking right now.
That's how it started for me. And then when I realized that I wasn't blinking, I was like, oh, this is a thing that I'm going to do from now on. And now I'm just making a point. Like, my eyes are what you need to be watching. Mm-hmm. And then I just won't blink.
Mm-hmm. I know one of the bits of, I guess, positive feedback I've been getting in recent times, now that I've started like opening up to more people, is they say that I have some of the most disturbing eye contact out of a lot of people. One guy, Fox specifically, said that he was like the first one to really point it out, where he's like, I'm watching, he's like, the one thing, so is like my facials are kind of on the, I guess, more monotone, kind of unemotive side, but it's all in the fucking eyes, and I'm just like kind of locked in on you, and you're like not really like.
There's something more scary about being creepy but doing it with composure.
Yeah.
That instead of just being like overly animated and be like like, if you're just talking and being like, oh, the air smells so good right now, it smells the sanguine scent in the air, and you're just like, and it's like, oh shit, that's creepy, stop it.
Yeah. I know his thing was like, it's one of those where you're afraid to break the eye contact. Like, as the viewer, he's like, I'm watching you and I'm afraid to look away. So then he's like, those few seconds where like you turn off and you like look off to the side, they're like, and then after that blink, they look back and I'm right back on them again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't even realize this was a thing I do, but now I'm going to totally lean into that.
Yeah, it's little subconscious things that you do that are like your tells. Similar to like when I'm doing promos. When I'm doing promos, I talk with my hands a lot, and I do like you or you. And then when I'm Joey, for some reason, I use my middle finger to point. And I didn't even notice that. I'm just like, I need to do stuff different. Someone's like, what you need to notice is, and people were like, I really like you change up your mannerisms. Like, the fuck you talking about?
Yeah. I know I've got this like, and it's something I've only kind of recently came to notice myself where like, whenever I'm like doing like shit, I have like this weird thing where like, I'll be like that. Where it's like my middle finger will go down, but everything else will be up, and I'll just kind of be like,
You're like,
when I'm like pointing,
bling.
I'm just like, yeah. But it's like I don't know, that's another one of those weird things. But like the eye contact thing, it's gonna be interesting because I've kind of crippled myself a little bit. I've kind of taken that away for a spell with this mask. You can't see my eyes anymore. I've got to find a new way to kind of keep that attention which I think it's a good challenge, right? Don't want to rely too much on one thing.
Do the exact opposite of everybody else. Everyone's like, look at my eyes, and you need to be like, I have no eyes.
Yeah, that was actually the
You gotta get like
original idea.
mesh, like
Whenever
black mesh, and put it underneath your masks, so you can still see through it, but they can't see your eyes. So then, if you have
yes,
anything that just like accents the facial structure of your face, but they have like eye holes, well, now the black that surrounds your eyes is all black, and it just creates a void.
oh, I need to look into that.
Yeah, that's something
Yes.
you should try out because
Oh,
I don't, in theory,
I
I know
have like one
exactly.
of those.
I
Well,
think I'm
no,
thinking
that
the
wouldn't.
same thing. I just don't want to give anything away for the people here.
Yeah, like the first thing I thought of was like
The second
first
one,
thing I
right?
thought of was like um oh yeah, yeah,
With
probably gonna
lighting.
do like,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, that'll be nice. But like with this one, I'm thinking of like, okay, how can I like fully conceal the eyes? Because like if I'm just wearing the mask itself, if you pay attention, you can still see my fucking eyes behind
yeah,
the thing there. So it's like first thing I thought of was oh, I have one of those sleep masks. But then it's like, well, now I just can't fucking see.
yeah. You need
So
something
I
that's
did,
like a
yeah, I need to
lightweight.
make sure.
You need
Yeah,
lightweight,
I
breathable,
have like,
possibly mesh black, like a
mhm.
t-shirt sleeve or something stretched over your face.
Yeah, yeah. I know I don't know where it's at, but I had one of those like kind of like long cloth masks that became a thing in COVID, where
Okay.
it's like wear it around, like, you know, a lot of people like when they'd like just like pull it down around their
Oh
neck,
yeah,
and then whenever they were getting out they'd just pull it back up like
yeah,
fucking Kakashi style in fucking Naruto. I've got one of those around somewhere. You just like use that because I tried something similar to that once, just testing shit, and it's like, okay, I can still see through this.
yeah.
So I need
Look at
to
us giving away our secrets.
find that. Hey, you know,
This is the podcast you need to listen to if you want to be a spooky boy.
yeah, take notes, motherfuckers. Take notes. But yeah, I like the concept of just kind of challenging myself and not getting comfortable doing a specific thing. Like I'll ride on it for a while. I'll ride on something for a while, but then eventually it's like, okay, I feel like I'm starting to get too comfortable with this, and it's going to become a crutch and negatively affect me at some point. Time to learn a new trick.
Yeah.
So I guess that's gonna kind of be the thing now. I need to start learning my new trick. Haven't really figured what that's gonna be yet. I don't know if it'll be more of an emphasis on like, I don't know, body language or something like that. I don't know.
I am
I'm not
more
sure.
than willing to help you out with anything you need.
I appreciate that. I know one thing with that mask specifically is something I really enjoy about it is head motion. There's always just this weird thing whenever I've got it, and it's like the promo that I dropped last week. I kind of done like a little bit of a thing where like I kind of like I had been facing this way, looking at the picture on the wall, and then I kind of like just turn back, tilted. So that might be the thing. I don't know. I'm not sure yet because I still need to do like more stuff with the mask and really figure out what the thing is for it. I don't know yet.
It's all trials and see what sticks.
That's the fun of it, though.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like that's the fun of just like seeing what you can like what you can do, like where you can push yourself to. So when around the time when HSW went down, we're kind of get back on track a little bit here. Around when HSW went down, did you like go? Let's see, you went to XWE after that.
Yeah, I gave myself like 2-3 weeks to just like have everything calm down and give me a break a little bit, and then I came to XWE, and I kind of started from the ground up a little bit, and I worked my way up to a pretty good feud at one of their top things, and I was digging it. I was digging it. A lot of people that I don't really know, and a lot of people that are very similar to me, which I'm not a fan of. But overall, it's cool for a new change of scenery.
Yeah, at the time, well, after HSW went down, like a few weeks after it went down, that was when I took my break. So I wasn't in the know on pretty much anything for months. But specifically with XWE, I was completely separated from the whole Huck regime at the time, because that's kind of a Nick always tells me if I just sit down and talk to him, I'd like him, but I don't know. I can't help but feel like there's a personality clash.
That's how I feel about a lot of people. But what I've learned is I'll talk to people one-on-one and then just not look at anything that they're about online. And I'll get in, I'll end up liking people. Because me and Nick on paper, like way different from each other. But we talk to each other and we're brothers and we love each other and we've been friends for all like 8-9 years now. So I talk to people like Huck, and I talk to anybody who's like a lot different than me, and we get along when we talk to each other. But I'm like, I know morally and lifestyle wise, I'm different from everybody. So I don't talk to them about things like that. And I keep it straight up things on what we do have in common and EFED stuff. And then it's like, boom, we have a camaraderie. It works out.
And I do feel like a lot of my, I guess, hesitance does come with the fact that I've spent so long being just a total like recluse. Because for like, I'm going on 5 years this month. This month makes year 5.
Well, congrats,
and
or I'm sorry, whatever you feel.
Yeah, whatever's convenient. I don't know yet. I haven't decided whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But it's only in these last few months that I've really started trying to become a little more social and actually like communicate more, because I've started to, I guess, kind of find a bit more of a mental clarity. I don't know. Like big lifestyle changes and shit really kind of put me on a more sociable track.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And doing this show is, I guess, another reason why I did it was to kind of break that barrier down with some people.
It's kind of forcing yourself to go out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. So like me in this like hosting situation is not at all something I'm used to. Like this is like sort of the first trek into that. And then like a couple months ago, I attempted a Fed of my own. It got one show in and then flustered out. But I had done a result thing, and the project was a absolute shit show, but doing the live result thing, I thought I actually kind of enjoyed it a little bit. But I don't match up with anyone else's schedules to do more, so
Yeah, it's hard.
yeah.
It's hard if you're doing live. If you're just gonna do it in a video format and then just drop it whenever, you can just be like, "Oh, I'm going on my break," and then bloop, drop it in,
Yeah.
and then it's like, "Okay, we're on time again." But
Yeah.
if you're doing live, it's like we're doing this in the morning. It's like y'all have to be up for fucking 9 a.m. if you want to wait for this shit.
Yeah. I don't know, like if I ever actually like do that kind of project again, I would consider doing probably like a pre-recorded thing, because I don't have it in me to sit there and like do like a big like written thing. And
Yeah.
plus I feel like it's kind of written's very much a niche thing, and a lot of people kind of look down on it these days.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
I did written for like 5-6 years. So
yeah.
it was rough.
Yeah. And then, the live thing's a whole other can of worms where a lot of things have to work out in order for it to actually, be good. But I don't know if I'll get to that place where I feel like, okay, let's try this thing again. I don't know. I've flirted with it off and on, but it never comes back around.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see, what else do I have on here? Get into, I guess,
I'm an open book. Come at me with some difficult shit.
That's another part where I wish DJB was here, because he's much better at like hard hitting rapid fire stuff than
DJ would show up and look at me like, "So what's it like being a bitch?"
Maybe that sounds like more of a Josh thing.
Yeah. Me and Josh like each other though, so it's fine.
Okay. Here's something.
Okay.
Do you watch anyone in particular? Like, is there anyone you really pay attention to?
I used to pay attention to a lot of people. Now, because my free time is so thin, I watch pretty much just whoever I'm booked against, and whoever like sends me their stuff and says, "Hey, can you give me your opinions on this?" Just because it's too many things for me to keep up with. XWE will have like 10 matches. This is 10 matches on top of me doing my own podcast, working a full-time job, doing promos, and writing and recording music.
Yeah.
So I don't have as much time as I'd like to, but what I used to watch you whenever we were in the same area. Like when if we were both on like alpha kind of stuff, HSW kind of stuff, I would watch you. I'd watch Ryan K.
Oh yeah, he's a good one.
I do like Dylan Mason and Crimson Wolf, but once again, it's one of those things I will mostly watch them, and I'll watch all of their stuff if I'm involved in it. Doesn't necessarily need to be on me, but if I'm in the match, I will watch it because I need to know context. But I like all them. Casey, my best friend in this game, watch all their stuff. And by proxy, I watch a lot of Nick and Alicia's stuff because they are my students.
Yeah.
And I need to see how they're progressing. But they don't really do promos anymore, really. Nick is more in the overseer of stuff and the booker. Yeah. And Alicia comes and goes.
Yeah, she's kind of just, if there's something for her to do, she'll pop in, and that's fine. She's someone I've recently kind of gotten to, I guess, sort of connect a little bit more with. We a couple weeks ago, we were I was high, she was drunk, and we were playing Phasmophobia. It was a great fucking time.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a ghost hunting game.
Oh.
Where you like look for, I guess, evidence of ghost activity in a house or a.
Oh, okay.
I think there's varying like maps and difficulty levels. I think the harder difficulties might be I think one of the hardest difficulty maps is there's like an actual like abandoned asylum, and you like get basically free reign to just travel this whole area and track this ghost down this big giant fucking abandoned building. We didn't get that far. We just stayed to like one place because I hadn't played it before, and we just really had no idea what we were doing, but it was a lot of fun.
I'm so out of the loop when it comes to games, both mobile and actual games. Like, I'm still playing N64 games on my emulators. I'm at work, like on my lunch break, and I'm playing Diddy Kong Racing. I just beat Kirby Crystal Shard for the 3rd time. Like,
nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like super in the know on a lot of like. I basically really. The game I play the most is probably the WWE 2K games. And most
I haven't
of that is
played one of those
like,
since 2017.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and even with those, the most I do with them is just like creating characters and stuff. I just use like the creation suites.
I've seen your stuff.
Yeah, it's like that's what I spend the most of my time in whenever I'm playing this. I'm not like playing matches or playing the story modes or anything. I'm playing the I'm playing in the creation modes. That's it. So like I'm not really even that much of a I have my fucking PlayStation over here, but I just use it as like for like fucking YouTube or Netflix or Hulu and shit. I don't play games. I have all these games on my fucking PC and I don't play a single one of them. Playing with her when I did was like the first time in months I've actually played a game to play a game.
Yeah. I regularly play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. That's what I play.
Oh,
I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan.
I got a buddy who's also really into that, and he keeps trying to get me to do it, but I'm a total procrastinator, and I feel like that's one of those things where I would need to probably spend a lot of time with it to get down.
You need to spend a lot of time with it in order to get used to it, because the setup is a little different than when you play like as an actual game, and there's so many cards. So you'd have to like learn like the best techniques and everything and how the gameplay is. It's tedious, but I've been playing it for 5 years now.
I feel like kind of I have always been sort of the outcast of my area, because you feel like you would see someone and you would probably just assume I'm someone who's into that kind of stuff, like the Yu-Gi-Ohs or your D&D style stuff. But there wasn't a lot of that around here because I live in Redneck Central, where everyone's about pickup trucks and guns and
I mean that's me too. Me and Casey up here in New Hampshire.
It's like I don't really have anyone to explore these things with because everyone's a fucking hick.
Yeah. I see you trying to search for the good word, and you're just like, fuck it.
Yeah. It's like, welcome to Rednecks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, that's the one thing a lot of people one thing I do get from like a lot of the more, I guess, nerd culture people is like, they look at me and they think, oh, this is probably a guy who plays the fuck out of some shit like D&D, and then I tell them I've actually never played it once in my life, and I'm like,
I played it a lot in middle school and the beginning of high school, and then I got more into like music, so I never really got back. It's been a couple times where I'm like, oh, I'll get back into it, but then my schedule is just like, nah, son.
It's always something I've wanted to try, because I feel like it's something that would, if I could get the hang of it, it'd be really interesting to get into. But
it's good if you have a consistent schedule that does not change, because you need constant routine and meeting up with people in order to progress the story, or else everything gets fucked.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. When it comes to like, the card games and stuff, I'll tell you probably what my My favorite, I have my two favorite card games. Are it's not like I'm bringing it up after we just talked about like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, but like it's nothing even of that realm. My two favorite like card games are Uno and Cards Against Humanity. I love those. I love those.
I'm also a very big fan of both of those. So
yes, I could play both of them for hours and not get bored.
I played a game recently. I think it's called Ransom. And you have like a bunch of magnetic words, and you put it on a metal tray to create like a ransom note. And then it says like write a note to Dwayne the Rock Johnson or something. And then I just wrote tug.
Tug.
Because I was like, fuck it, let's just solicit a hand job from this man.
Oh god, I need to look into that. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
The game, not the hand job from Dwayne Johnson. Let's see. Kind of going back to who are some of your favorite people to work matches with?
Okay.
Like people that whenever you see their name across from yours, you're like, all right, we're about to blow shit up.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's mostly the people who I've known forever, because we can play the history game and we have years and years of lore to play off of. So it's like Alicia, Nick, Casey, Simon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing good stuff with you, but we haven't really worked too much together.
Yeah.
But what we did so far is good. So I'm very excited for what the future holds.
Oh yeah, me too.
And then who was it? I liked Cody Omega back in the day, because we were so different. And it was like if the Undertaker had to face off against MJF.
Oh yeah.
And that was the vibe it was going. I'm sad that he kind of left doing E-Feds, and now we have to. I'm gonna throw him under the bus for this because I find it super annoying. I have to deal with being tagged at a bunch of 2K bullshit all the time.
Oh yeah, that was a thing that happened. Fucking Real Action Wrestling. Remember that?
Yeah. So I was like,
we were in that for a cup of coffee.
So I'm like, every now and then I'm just like, bro, just stop it and come back. Like I need a good opponent again.
You know he's bringing that back, kind of, right?
If I don't have time to watch people's promos, I ain't got time to watch an entire wrestling show.
No. Well, he's not doing it the way he did it before. Now it's like he's like doing it like AI matches live streamed on like Twitch, like with no production or anything. So it's like it's not even the same.
Yeah. So pretty much anybody who was involved with Filth, Cody Omega, you, and back in the day, before his IW days, mind you, Chad Bartlett.
Okay.
Because I was spooky, but not mask spooky. And me and him had a series of matches where he portrayed a character by the name of Stacy Galaxy. And it was an over-the-top, pink, sparkly character who was like, Stacy Galaxy's gonna be running the whole entire world, I tell you that much, sweetie. And it was like the funniest thing ever, but it was good promos. And we were facing off each other. I got Chad, I got Stacy Galaxy, and then I created a tag team with Chad's friend Amos where I was in Toxico, and we've formed a team called the Super Barrio Brothers.
Oh my god.
And he was Sancho Polaco, and he was a trash talking drunk with a unibrow, and we were running shit. So that whole area, PWA, TOPW, original stuff, there's a lot of people back then, but nowadays, Filth, you, Cody, that's pretty much it.
Fair.
I had to bring that Stacey Galaxy thing in there. Nobody ever talks about how much of a madman Chad Bartlett was outside of his nuke face era.
Yeah, he was an interesting one.
Yeah. Still one of my boys. Love that dude.
No. I wasn't really like, I'd done some stuff with him a couple of times, but never really anything too extensive. Like the most we had ever done was like tag stuff. I never really had a like one-on-one scenario with him before. But now he's doing his thing. I think he's still wrestling.
He's wrestling. He's doing. I think he tried rapping recently.
I know he
has a band.
Yeah, so. Fucking Porno Arcade.
Yeah,
and he does a React channel on YouTube now.
Oh, I might have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to it. I watch it every now and then. It's it's him and his girl. They do like they do React videos. It's nothing like, no offense if he just so happens to hear this. It's nothing like groundbreaking, but there's nothing really groundbreaking about React videos. I don't really think it's like it's just.
I've been there.
It's an easy watch, like getting, I see the appeal as someone like you're looking to see, what does this person think of this thing that I like?
Yeah.
So I totally get that appeal, because I find myself doing that a lot, where it's like, I'll just go down a React rabbit hole and see like what all these people think of this one thing that I thought was really fucking cool, or that was really fucking shit, and see if the consensus is the same. But yeah, he's got that kind of stuff going on. Like he's living his life. He's doing good.
I'm out here. I'm like, oh shit, they just reacted to the new fucking Terror song. I need to check that out, and then I'll just be happy for like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
I do that all the time.
Let's see. I know you mentioned not really able to keep up with a lot of people you wouldn't normally keep up with. Yeah. So I won't ask this the way that I would ask like someone else who maybe does kind of keep their nose to the ground a bit more. Who is one person that you would just absolutely just drop everything to just run a fucking story with? Not like a one-off, like just like a full like story. Like
I haven't been able to have a real story with him. I've had a bunch of matches with him, but they've just been one-offs. I would really like to do something on a bigger scale with Doomsayer.
Oh yes,
he's Doomsayer having like an actual story and not just a one-off.
Yeah, that's like kind of the same thing with me and him is, we've had matches together, really good matches, but we've never like worked a program. And it's like, that would be really fun, because he was one of those people that kind of pushed something out of me anytime we worked together. The first time we worked together, it was like right at the start of the Filth thing. He wasn't in it yet, but I think he had taken the hardcore title off of you. And then I took it off of him. Yeah. Like very early on into that next season, and I mean he pushed the fuck out of me.
And then Ryan K, I'd like to do something with him. We once again couple matches back and forth, have never had a story.
Mm-hmm. Can you say his last name?
Kilimanjaro. And also Cody Bentley. There's a lot of similarities between us, but besides me having one match with him at another Fed and one match here, that's all we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to do something with that. It would force me to change my stuff up a little bit. So that's what I would need.
I know there was one guy that I remember telling you about. That I was like, I would love to see you and this dude work something.
I remember.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it because.
Yeah, I know.
But there's like me being someone who's like kind of, I guess, a little more nose to the ground. I see these people, I'm like, I could see this person and this person, or this person and me. It's like I could see a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anybody who's like stuff like I know that they exist in the EFED capacity, but I haven't really watched it because then I
Yeah.
can't judge on if that would be compatible or not. So I'm
Right.
just going with people that I've watched previously and I can see it.
And you brought up Cody Bentley. There's a different Fed that we're both in, and we just started something together, and I've never worked with him before in that capacity. So, and I'm like,
Scotty
okay,
Mack
here we
brought me
go.
into a place.
PWR?
Scotty Mack brought me into a place, and then he was like the face of the place, and I was just in there because I was like, I need something to do in between this place and this place. I'll show up, I'll give the rub to somebody, and then I'll dip. And we had all this, and it was leading up to a good match, and everybody was hyped as fuck, and then I left, and we never really worked together again. So that's why I'm like, now we're in the same spot again. We can do it.
Yeah. Was it his show that he brought you into, or was it something else? PWR?
Might have been PWR. Yeah. I was there for like 2-3 months, and then I just kind of dipped because I clashed with a couple people, and I didn't like it.
You know, it's funny because I had like a 2 or 3 month stint in there before I had kind of pieced out for a while, but I ended up leaving PWR because I had just burned out. There wasn't like any sort of like big classes or anything. I just like, I had no fucking passion for this shit to give. So I'm just like, I just kind of started ghosting people. Let's see. Is there anyone that is not around anymore that maybe you didn't get a chance to do anything with that you wish you would have had a chance to?
It might have been after your time. I'm not 100% sure, but Legion Cole.
I remember Legion. Yeah, I remember Legion.
People said there's a lot of similarities between how we both talk and tell stories. But I got one match with him when I was TJ Vegas and when I first started in IW. So I never got to really work with him when I understood what I was trying to do and like who I was or anything. So he got the worst part of me when he was at his peak, and it didn't go well. So now that I'm like, I have a character, I know my things, my strongness, my weaknesses, how to do the camera work, all that stuff. I would have loved to have run it back, but he's just not in this at all anymore.
Yeah,
so,
like I think at most he'll occasionally pop up and do a one-off thing in IW like once every year or two.
Yeah.
That's the
and
last
I ain't going back there, so fuck it.
I mean, I don't know if this will get me any shit for saying it. I don't say I blame you.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
I'm kind of the person I burn the bridge after I walk over it.
That was my intention, and then shit just kind of happens. Now I'm just kind of there because I'm there because certain people need me to be there right now. In order for it's kind of one of those things where like, okay, you're having fun as long as like I'm around, and I'm not gonna ruin your fun, so fuck it.
I've been there too.
But make the most of the situations as they come. I'll do this one for DJB. If he was here right now, we'll end with this one.
Okay.
They would be about this point where he would hit you with rapid fire, no time to think. First 5 E-Fetters that come to your mind, top 5. Go.
Okay, top 5. Okay. Yeah. Luke Alexander. Nick White. I would say Chad Bartlett. Fuck. Grant Miller. And why can't I fucking think, bro? Bro, I'm having this last one. Like I know the era that I want to hit. I can't think of fucking names. I'll be nice. I'll say you, because you are up there. Yeah, you would probably be like 6 or 7, honestly.
I made top 10. Yes.
Yeah.
Technically top 5 because you can't think of a fifth one.
If I had like time and I was just kind of like writing them all down, but I feel like I'm taking too long. Fuck it.
That's now 2 top 5s I've made it on since that question started becoming a thing. Sweetness. But yeah, I think that's all we got.
That's all we got.
Pretty much hit everything. I think we pretty much hit everything on the Fed circle. I would love to bring you back on sometime to talk more about, like, your other projects and stuff, like, your Kilmurray stuff and whatnot.
And now I know how to make it not sound like shit because I have this way and not on the computer.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We had a solid second half of the podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, would definitely love to run it back again because
hell yeah, a lot of fun. I'm down with that.
Yeah. But thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm glad we got to do this. This. And let's see. This would be the part where I announce the next episode's feature. This is going to be a guy that he's more known in the 2K realm.
Okay.
Not really someone, as far as I know, not someone who's really out in like the video world that much. He runs a 2K fed called Worldwide Wrestling, aka 3Dub. And he goes by the name Mr. Drew.
Mr. Drew.
Mr. Drew, that's who. That was really bad. I'm sorry.
I've never heard of Mr. Drew, so I might tune into that just to see what he's about.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
We'll be recording that one tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And then I think it'll go up next. It'll go up next week. Yours will be going up. Let's see. It's currently it's May 2nd. This one will be going up on May 10th.
Okay. I'll hype it up.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's about all we got here. Again, thanks for coming on and chatting for a couple hours. Had a lot of fun.
Worries. Loved it.
Thanks to everyone who came in and tuned into this one. After the absolute clusterfuck that was Joshua McClain's episode, I'm hopeful and thankful for those who did not jump off the ship at this point. All that mattered to him was that he got a longer time than Nick White, so he got what he wanted. But thanks everyone for watching, and tune in next time. Check out the Facebook page, keep up with all the updates, new episodes, new ideas and stuff. And until next time, farewell. If you're someone who has some history or some stories in the eFed community that you would like to talk about on a platform, well, I've got the place for you right here on the Unplugged podcast. Just hit me up and we will schedule a show just for you. As always, thank you for watching and listening, and I will talk to all of you later on.